All right, greetings, fellow humans. Here's some rando thoughts. Again, um, been thinking about Bill Gates. You know, so Bill Gates was pied. When I was younger, and there was these people that pied people out there, the baking brigade. Right, I might know a little something about that. And the Biotic Baking Brigade also inspired the Patisserie Brigade in Belgium, Noël Guédon. And they just had some delicious pies that they delivered to some people. I think they got Bernard Henri Lévy one time. Anyway, I think they got Bernard Henri Lévy a few times. I think he fought back. I think he got angry. But multiple pies. We never, the Biotic Bakers in San Francisco. Oh, they got the Act Up people took up the pie too. San Francisco Act Up. And they actually pied uh, this guy Phelps, the God Hates Fags. You remember the God Hates Fags guy? What a jerk. They pied him, and then he came back to San Francisco to come and talk hate to people once again, and it was called Operation Second Phelping. They pied him again. But anyway, quote unquote anarchist people back then, late 90s, early thousands, and so forth, had consciousness. They were aware of things, and they knew who their elites, they knew who the elites were, and the problems, things they were facing, and so forth. I myself realized that I was a reform capitalist. I was still trying to kind of, hey, this system can still work. We just got to tweet. The people have to get involved. And when the people get involved, like the 1930s or something, we get union and we get the 8-hour workday and blah, blah. And I still kind of believe that, although I don't, we're so mind warped now. We're so not in control of any of our media or anything. We're not in control of education. We're not in control of our government, our political parties. We're not in control of anything. Basically, Israel basically controlling it. Israel and like super wealthy elites controlling it, running it all, defense contractors. And so we've complete surrender. So reform capitalism is kind of a joke. But yeah, at the time, though, Bill Gates got pied, I was definitely a reform capitalist with anarcho-syndicalist leanings, right? You kind of listen to a little Professor Richard Wolff and talk about some kind of worker-run collectives, worker-owned collectives, collective land ownership and stuff like that. That stuff all seems so far away now because the digital total surveillance military capitalist police state that has captured everything has us in so much crisis that we're just even so far away from asking for things like that or even asking what's happening to our communities. How often do you run into like a leftist with any kind of reach, a Democrat, who still kind of believes in the party, still has some resources, and they're out there talking about what they really need to do on a local community level. If they're talking about the environment, they're not using this vague phrase climate change. Instead, they're actually doing something locally, they're actually fighting something really locally, fighting a local battle with a petroleum company right here locally, just locally saving water hydrology systems locally and not being distracted by this climate change thing. But many of them haven't. They've actually forfeited these local battles and have gone all in on kind of climate actions and drawing chalk on the streets in the cities with vague messaging that doesn't help, doesn't do raise any consciousness or create any awareness about any current actual local things actually happening with the environment. That's what's happened. Climate change kind of has eating that, ruined the environmental movement. That's kind of over. Um, Simultaneously, any kind of anti-war organizing or organizing to kind of reinvigorate democracy, any of that kind of stuff, that's all been completely taken over by this kind of partisan Republicans versus Democrats kind of thing. And people can no longer even see real players. They can't even see them. They can't do anything about them. And Bill Gates is one. So while younger, previous generations saw what an evil man he was, a monopolist, what he did at Microsoft, and they recognized that, how he took word processing that was invented by all of us and kind of monopolized computer workplace operating system, monopolized that, Microsoft, monopoly, um, and operated on this hostile platform, not meant to encourage more better computing or more competition or kind of stuff, but just more kind of co-optation. We'll just eat it. We'll just take it. We'll block it. Boom, boom. If it's competition, no, no, no. You're going to be doing business with Microsoft. Whether you like it or not, just embrace it. Microsoft. Yeah. As many people back then had consciousness, he got pied. That was great. But now, it's weird. The liberals, quote unquote, the Democrats, they actually love him. They love him, and they love Anthony Fauci, and they love Raytheon, and Goldman Sachs, and West Exec, and DynCorp, and the CIA, and the FBI. And when I was younger, the FBI, they shot Judy Berry. Right, we realized they probably had a lot to do with the repression, and we knew they had the repression of the Black Panthers. People here in Oakland, people had consciousness, they were aware, and they were against the FBI. They knew the FBI was not their friend. Well, fast forward, this kind of post-Trump world, the left is all idiot-tarded out of their minds, and they're they just love the FBI now. They loved Robert Mueller, and anybody they thought was going to do something real clever, and they were going to be kind of on the inside, a little insider, and they were going to buy a copy of Robert Mueller's book, buy a bunch of them for their liberal bookstore up in Humboldt County. Bunch of Robert Mueller books. She says you walk in there, boy, can't find any hard-hitting analysis of the media environment. Manufacturing consent is buried back there somewhere, and but Hate Inc. by Matt Taibbi is banned. Probably not even available at the libtard bookstore because now Matt Taibbi. Do we think he's kind of conservative now? I don't know. I don't like Matt Taibbi anymore. I don't like him. Yeah. So they've been completely dupified and turned into like personality politics, And it's really sad that they think Robert Mueller of the FBI, James Comey of the FBI, Bill Gates, they think these people are their friends. Bill Gates is one of the most evil humans on the planet. Some of the things he actually thinks. When you're super rich and you really hardly ever have contact with other people, or you never have contact that's honest with other people, you're not going to, you're always kind of in control because you're super rich. Everybody knows you're a celebrity, you're super rich. So you don't have equal exchanges with people. You never get put in your place. There's no reality check for you. You're kind of in a wealthy person fantasy land bubble, thinking of yourself as some kind of savior, right? And that happens to a lot of wealthy people. They get in this super bubble. And I created the jobs. I'm a job creator. No, you're not. You're an investment pig and a parasite. Probably the things you're doing are actually destroying jobs. You're not creating jobs that pay living wages in America. That's actually, not your agenda. Your agenda is to destroy jobs that pay living wages. Paying living wages is not what the super elites want to do. Paying living wages is what makes a community healthy, community good, community getting better, people getting paid a nice wage. They have some extra resources. They can help themselves and their neighbors. They get out of debt. They become landowners in their neighborhood. They own houses in their neighborhoods. And therefore, not the bank so much owning, they actually own, they buy, they pay down mortgage payments, they start owning property. They start demanding things. I don't want another car lane zooming through my neighborhood. I actually want a green space here. Yeah, that's right. People with agency start demanding things, right? I don't know. I wanted to make a video about Bill Gates. I got lost. That's what happens to me lately. But Bill Gates is evil. He's still evil. And if you weren't an idiot, you'd know that, right? You'd see it also. But a lot of my friends here in the Bay Area, of course, like the Sabrina Alonzo's and all this kind of stuff, she is a lesbian. That's cool. We love that. Check off that box. Okay, lesbian. Really trust fund brat from the Republican Southern California. But hey, now, whoa, Bay Area radical, liberal, check. But duped by Pfizer and Bill Gates and stuff like that now. They don't have rhetoric about Bill Gates or stuff like that. They're talking about people that are anti-vax. That's their big concern. And probably now they're focused on Trump voters, people that they think voted for Trump, even though they don't actually know any. They don't ever see anybody who ever voted for Trump. No one around here voted for Trump. If they didn't vote for Kamala, if they hated Kamala and they were smart and hated Kamala, they probably voted for Jill Stein, right? But anyway, so these people all became completely sycophantic and to Kamala, and they're totally sycophantic to Raytheon and Bill Gates, and they just become duped out of their minds. Now they have no idea. They're not, and there's no community. Also, there's no place now where I can go. Now there's a little fake community building up, but it all depends on infusions of money. There's some sort of charter school feeling of community, right? And I think the No Kings movement, some of that money, that 501c3 money that went through some of those nonprofits, had this feeling like maybe that was going to go somewhere. I think some people thought, oh, we're going to build on this. There's going to be another one. Another No Kings event. And we're not just going to wait for the CIA to tell us when to have the No Kings event. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you did. You did. You totally did. I got duped. But, oh, God. Anyway, so at this point, California liberals, quote unquote, progressive Democrats, at least publicly, what we're seeing of them, what you can determine from them by what they say, the things that they're advertising, the money they're spending. What we're hearing, what we're seeing again is complete dupified still. Still completely dupified. The authorities are killing ostriches in the name of a virus that doesn't exist up in Canada. The authorities are further consolidating our media environments and censoring Twitter really hard right now. X, if you thought that Bill, what's his name, tech bro Elon Musk, when he bought X, you thought it was going to become not censored like it was under the Biden administration. Now Biden said, okay, you just go ahead, FBI, everybody, you just go ahead and work with the FBI, Joel Roth, Elvis Chan, all you people, just go ahead and censor, remove people, shadow ban, visibility filter away, things you don't like. Just go ahead. That's cool. Go for all that. Biden was totally into all that and actively censoring all the social media platforms at that time were being censored on behalf of Big Pharma and Big Defense and the establishment. Elon had famously said, I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to buy Twitter and X. Of course, he did buy Twitter and X, and then he handed it over to Linda Yaccarino. And it was completely enshittified. Cory Doctorow's phrase, enshittification. So we thought that maybe X was going to be the antidote to enshittification. Maybe that could be the place where we could tell the truth to each other. Have a good time on a social media platform again like we used to on Facebook before about 2010 or so, or 2011, 12, 16, by 2016, Facebook was just crap. So anyway, we thought, but we didn't get it. Unfortunately, Elon really failed. All the people that have a critique of Elon, none of them have a critique of him for what Like, what's really, they're like, oh, I hate Tesla, bro. I just hate Tesla. He's a Nazi and all this kind of stuff. But what he actually is a disappointment. He's a big, fat, elite tech bro he acted like he was a populist liberator for a little while. They're going to go and be part of Trump team, and they're going to go in and just cut government spending and oppression and all this stuff, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to lead to more freedom. Unfortunately, he bailed out on that last part. Did not help with more freedom, more of that, less censorship. He didn't do it. Anyway, and the libtards today are still completely just captured, and you never hear people talking smack about Bill Gates, and that's really sad. What I would love to do is tune into NPR one day and hear a hard-hitting report about Bill Gates. And then hear one of my old activist friends. You know, one activist friend that is still going and is pretty awesome, I gotta say, is Medea Benjamin with Code Pink. I don't think she ever became a toady for the vaccine industry. I don't think she ever did that. I don't think she ever became pro-war with the Biden team. I don't think she ever did that. I think she's been pretty much pro-free Palestine, pro kind of against the establishment the whole time. I think that's one person who never, one of the big, more high-profile protesters that never really became a sycophant to power, like most of the libtards in California did. They became totally sycophantic to people like Kamala Harris and people that were completely captured by BlackRock and Goldman Sachs and so forth. So they're done. They're out of their minds. No faux resistance. No resistance. So that's sad. That's sad. But it's crazy the kind of things that Bill Gates actually says. If you ever just watch Bill Gates, that's why I kind of just don't like you people. And I'm kind of giving up. Because if you just can't see, when you watch Bill Gates make a speech, when you watch Anthony Fauci make a speech, when you watch him testify to Congress, okay, and after watching that, you're still on his side. You still think he's telling the truth and doing great things for society, Anthony Fauci or Bill Gates. That's sad. That's really, wow, that's next level. You guys have been super duped. You went from being awesome and teaching me things, being friendly and nice, to being super duped, super triggered. And not only that, now people are justifying violence. I think that's another thing. We used to be the left. A lot of people used to have this kind of non-violence thing. And you kind of realize is that maybe some people did deserve violence against them, but to do violence against them only gave him more power. It wasn't a very good tactic. So from a sort of just a tactical argument, using violence or not using violence, promoting nonviolence, promoting peaceful ways of resolving, these are things that were all happening, had happened. And now it's kind of over. Now it's like, whatever, Black Bloc, well, Black Bloc was a tactic during Seattle. Well, that was the last time it was a tactic. Antifa shouldn't be an entity, a group of people. It should be a tactic that you pull out when you need it. If the protest is going well and society's accepting your view, you don't don the black outfit. Okay, you do that as a reaction to them not responding to you. So you're the popular people. You're out there saying we should have the 8-hour workday. You're not listening to me. I'm going to put on a black outfit and do a little sabotage of property, do some stuff here. And by the time I'm done, you're going to listen to me and we're going to get that 8-hour workday. That's how the Black Bloc works. Anonymous, just people just mask up and go out and do some damage to property and stuff. And that escalates the situation, or it allows the nonviolent protesters to stay in the intersection, whatever it does. It's part of a strategy. It's something. Well, now it's just this thing. I'm more tougher than now. I'm more radical than now. I'm an anarchist. I'm an Antifa. I'm in this now. I know things. You don't. I'm really in the know. You're not. I have my little secret people, friends, and we talk to each other and we do stuff at actions, and you don't. And don't film me. Even though I'm out in the public space here in an environment that's basically a digital video environment. But don't film me. Don't let any of my colleagues actually film me. Channel 7 CIA can film me all day long, but not you, So they're Antifa people are kind of weird. They're weird. They're out of their minds. They're triggered. They're easily triggered. They can be tricked and trapped into doing violence and then being caught. And I think that's what's going to happen to many of them. I think that's what is kind of happening to most of them. They've been tracked and triggered and focused on things that don't really matter. Also, the focus on the what your sexuality is and what your particular religion is. That's all counterproductive, also, and done by the other side. That's not us, right? Coming from us, that's not us. What comes from us is just, it's not an issue. It's you do what you want to do. If you or I mean, now your child, that's something a little different. But if it's your child and you guys decide that this before puberty, they certainly just have to go through some sort of sex change thing or whatever. Okay, that you've decided that's really cool. That shouldn't upset our larger struggle for a bike path. See, if we get a bike path across the Bay Bridge, that helps everybody. If I just change to a woman, or I change from a woman to a man, or whatever trans sex state that I'm in, or whatever identity I currently have, as I see myself as certainly as a vegan Inuit lesbian or something, all of a sudden that's what I'm going to identify as that. But still, even whether I identify as a Republican white male or if I identify as a vegan Inuit lesbian, I'm still going to be benefited by having a bike path that goes all the way to San Francisco. That would still reduce ridership in the BART during key hours, and it would reduce traffic on the Bay Bridge. It would improve a friendly, healthy, nice situation, a thing to do on weekends. Ride your bike to the city. Go into the city, spend a little money. Come from the city over to Oakland, spend a little money over in Oakland. See, that would be awesome, right? Bike path that goes all the way across the Bay Bridge. What about bike paths here in they're banking bike paths in Oakland right now that are like these hideous bike path things. I wouldn't subject any 9-year-old to them because they're weird. They got to funnel and meet through these little narrow lanes, and then they still end up in traffic, in car traffic. Because we don't have the balls to say no cars here. No cars on Broadway. We're done with the cars on Broadway. There's a bus going up and down Broadway. You need to go up and down Broadway, get on the bus. You need to go up and down Broadway, get on your bike. There's a protected bike lane that the bus will never go in because they're separate. They're nice. The bike lane is actually nice. There's a garden-lined walking path for old people. That's what should be in the center of all of your communities, a walking pathway, no cars. Of course, emergency vehicles, delivery vehicles can get to it from the sides and all that kind of stuff. Emergency vehicles, okay, yes. Everything else, no, right? It's the center of the community. We have a walking space that old people and young people can go down there and walk and feel good and safe and comfortable. These are some real agenda items that we could be fighting for, we could have done, and we didn't. Still no high-speed rail. There's not even a train. Amtrak is worse than it's ever been. The people, we didn't do anything about Amtrak. Amtrak sucks. It sucks. I just want to go, I live in Oakland. There's a train stop right here, made by generations ago, people who had a brain. I could get on that train and just ride it to Seattle, right? No. You got to get off and get on a bus. And then you got to wait because it's just horrible. It's by design, it's crap. I should be able to get on a train and ride to Los Angeles. Why is that impossible or weird? Because again, we're controlled by hyper-capitalists and super elites who don't give a crap about us, and everything they do drains our water, controls our land. We got these resnicks. Kill the resnicks. Kill them. They're done. We don't need them. They've made our land into a barren, almond grove for them only. You know what I mean? We don't need them. We don't need resnicks telling us what to do with our water anymore. We don't need Nestle telling us what to do with our water anymore. We need to control our water. And we need a high-speed rail. We need trains. Electric cars, everybody their own individual electric car. That's not the solution. Getting people into trains would have been the solution. That would have been the thing. We should have done that. We didn't do that. We're still not doing it. The individual car. This hyper-capitalism with people, this idea of you as an individual, that even without a community, there's no community. The community sucks. The community's on its way to prison, you know? But you're still okay somehow. Just because you're so awesome, or you got some better AI or something. You think, I'm going to work with the AI and I'll just stay ahead of all this. No, you won't, because the system is collapsing. The thing that we need water, we don't need another data center. Water, not data centers. Water, not data centers. Data centers, bad. Water, good. Fracking, bad. Okay? Fracking, bad. Going around saying climate change and then giving money to frackers, that's bad, okay? Protecting local waterways, organic gardens, organic food, complex systems that imitate nature, good, good. Monocrop, bad. Glyphosate, bad. Glyphosate, vegans. There's a lot of vegans that just love glyphosate. They eat glyphosate, they eat petrochemicals, they just love all that. And they have a lot to say, a lot of judgment for people that eat meat. They're petrochemical intensive monocrop pigs themselves, but they have judgment for people that eat meat. Guess what? Animals and plants live together on the planet together, all over the place. In nature, animals and plants are together. They're part of a system. If you're going to make a all vegan world, where are the animals? You're going to cultivate. What are you going to do? Animals should be a part of the system here. I know it's crazy now. We can't. And the way we do it now, of course, it's horrible. The factory farms, that's not the answer. That enables one corporation to be in charge of a lot of stuff and to abuse meat packing workers. My system, my way, local control, local. The meat packing is over. We're done. We can do that locally. We take shifts, 8 hours only during the day. No night work. Get rid of a lot of night work on the planet. Get people back into the biological system with the sun. Being on planet Earth with the sun, being a healthy human versus being a weird Bill Gates sycophant. All right, that was a really good use of 27